Community Viewpoint.
And welcome back to Community Viewpoint. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this segment. And so it's getting a little cool out there. So towards the end of the year, when the temperature gets a little chilly, when we're running out of events, so there's only one more event that basically happens when it turns cool, and that's the Powwow. And with us today, we have the honor of having Paula Elefante, who is the director of the event, and she's been directing it for a few years.
13.
Here's Paula here.
I've been
13
involved with this powwow for 13 years.
And it's been going on, it says on the flyer, 17 years.
Yes.
So time marches on for you doing your thing, I'm doing my thing. And it's still here, but we're getting a little older.
A lot older.
And they're getting better. The events are getting
older.
better. So please tell us a little bit. There it is. You'll be seeing these flyers all over town, and they'll tell you all the information you need to know. Otherwise, we will hear everything else from Paula right now.
This year, that you'll see on our flyer. Well, first of all, I want to tell you that the person in the background, that is a dancer. His name is Alan Roy. He is a championship fancy dancer. And so he'll be doing some demonstrations of his dancing. He's also a flute player. And so we're going to be privileged to have him doing some flute songs for us. And I, for one, I really love listening to the flutes because, I don't know, it's really calming and it's peaceful. The flutes are really peaceful. So I'm excited about that. This year our powwow is in memory of John Whitefeather DuPont. And John's been involved with the powwow for several years. He was chairman of our committee. And we lost John in July. So
it was unexpected.
Yeah, that was unexpected. So the committee decided that we would do the powwow in memory of John. I know that people that have been to the powwow for the past several years, our MC's name is Michael Rifle, and he has been our MC for about 4 years now. Mm-hmm. And all of you that come out to the powwow, from what I'm told, y'all really like this guy because he explains the dances. He explains the regalia that the dancers are wearing. He really is out there educating all of us that are at the powwow about the different styles of dance, the regalia that one would wear for that specific type of dance. He'll also talk about a little bit about the feathers, traditions, customs, powwow do's and don'ts. The don'ts there seems to be a lot of those, but yeah, so he's there talking to us about all of that between the dances. Our powwow, we do start on Friday, but most of the dancers won't be there until Saturday. But our vendors will be, pretty much most of the vendors will be set up, so it gives you a chance to get in there and do some early holiday shopping or household redecorating or, things like that.
Something to eat there too on Friday?
Of course, there's going to be something to eat. We have 2 fry bread vendors. We have Luis Acuna comes from Whittier, California, and he does Tex-Mex stuff. We have a local lady who will be doing some Mexican food. And then we have a new vendor this year, and hopefully, I'm hoping the weather's nice, because she'll have, for the kids, little kids and big kids like me, she'll have cotton candy and snow cones and hot dogs and, that kind of stuff. So, because we get people that ask about that. So we have those different vendors for food. We have plenty of food opportunities.
You have the American cuisine, which is garbage, and then you have the Native American cuisine, which is somewhat better.
And we have the Tex-Mex is actually, he does vegan.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. It's a lot of fruit and things like that. And people have just, he's been here before. He was at the Fall Festival. He was here for, I think he was here 4th of July too. And so a lot of pineapple. He uses a lot of pineapple is what I can tell you. So if you can think of a food vendor that's been to those other events where they had pineapple,
okay,
that's him.
Yes.
Excuse me. I'm really excited to say that our Southern Drum that was here last year for the first time is coming back, and they're coming in from Sacramento. Mm-hmm. They're the Hummingbird Singers, and our Northern Drum is coming from Denver, and this is a first year from that for them. And you know how we watch the Grammy Awards on TV? There's actually Native American Music Awards. The short name is NAMI. Our Northern Drum was the 2014 Group of the Year at the NAMI. They received the NAMI Awards Group of the Year in 2014. So I'm really, really excited to welcome them to Pahrump. They're really, really good.
So how many drummers do they have? 2, 3, 4, 5 more?
How many drummers per drum?
No, the Northern Drum.
Okay, they have about 8 guys, I think.
Okay.
6 to 8 guys on the drum. And then the Hummingbird Singers, last year it was 4, and I think this year it's going to be 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're going to have the gourd dancers.
The gourd dancers start before grand entry. The gourd dancers the Gourd Society is made up of Native American veterans. You cannot be a gourd dancer unless you served in the military and you are a veteran. Now, that doesn't mean that you went to a war zone. That means you served. So if you were stayed in a peaceful situation or if you were in a war situation, either way, if you're Native American, you'd qualify to be able to join the society and learn. And they have specific dances. And actually what their job is, because you'll see them out there and they're just kind of, their steps are small. They're preparing the ground. They're like patting down the grasses, and they're preparing the ground for the dancers that will follow.
Oh, okay.
So that's a little bit about the Gourd Society.
And then you have special guest Alan
Yep.
Roy.
Alan Roy,
him
and that's
in
the
back.
gentleman whose picture's in the background on the flyer.
And then tell us about the grand entry Saturday and Sunday. That's when basically all the festivities
Yes.
start for the day.
Yes. I think many, many, many years ago, like in the late 1800s, early 1900s, the Indians were like marched through towns. They were paraded through a town, okay? And so grand entry kind of evolved from that. So some people would look at it and go, oh yeah, it's a parade. Well, sort of. But there is order to the grand entry. The grand entry would start with one of the members carrying the staff. You'd have the flags would come in, and then if there's any royalty attending the powwow and the various recognized tribes, they do have a princess. It's not like, you know, a princess in England, you know, princess, you know, she's voted each year, and in order to obtain that title, they have to be practicing their tribal traditions and customs. They have to be knowledgeable about their tribe and their history. They've got to be good students. They've got to be good representatives for their tribes. And so then you'd have that. And then you'd have the senior men. Then you would have senior women. Then you'd have adult men, adult women. You'd have the juniors. And then you'd have the tiny tots. So there is an order for the parade. And it's always that way. The senior men, senior ladies, adult men, adult ladies, and on down the line.
I remember that. Okay.
Well, you've been to what,
Yeah.
2 or 3 powwows?
Yes. And remember, this is at Petrick Park. Everyone is welcome. It's free admission. It's November 20th to the 22nd. And all dancers, it says, and drums welcome. You can bring your own drum?
No.
No. What? What does that say there?
It does. If you're a Native American drum.
So we're not
And
gonna
a
have
drum, a lot of people think that the drum is only the instrument in the center of these singers that sit around the drum. The drum is the group. It is that instrument, and it's the group of singers. That is the drum. So when we say dancers and drums welcome, it would be a Native American drum group.
All right, so don't
And
bring
Native
your drums.
American dancers.
And we won't have any side drum circles going on at the same time. Sorry, I'm an old deadhead, so. So this is what, once again, going on from Friday afternoon, later in the afternoon until Sunday afternoon.
Right, and we will, depending on the weather, I promise you,
Oh my
it
God.
might be wet, it might be dry, it might be cold, it might be t-shirt weather.
We've seen
I
it all.
promise you, it's going to be one of
It'll
those.
be something.
The only thing we haven't had is actually having it snow on us.
Well, Noah does the weather, so he'll make sure we have good weather for that.
Oh, I've been
Yeah.
watching AccuWeather, looking long term. I've been watching it. So far, it says we'll be about 64 during the daytime. So if it's nice, we might be able to go a little bit into the evening, and if y'all are there.
So we're just about out of time. We are out of time. Remember the powwow, the 22nd or 20th to the 22nd. We will see you there. Thank you, Paula. Thank you, Noah. Make sure we have good weather.
Thank you. We'll see you out there.
Community Viewpoint.